Hey everyone, it's me, Carol L. Power, author of the middle grade fantasy Is a Snore Snores and the upcoming young adult mystery Early Summer. How's your summer going? It's middle July already. Have you done anything exciting? Gone to a water park? Celebrate the 4th of July? Have you gone on any trips? We went camping at a state park. It had pit toilets. Do you know what those are? They are like the outhouses of old. No flushing allowed, but lots of bugs and smell. Ugh. Pit toilets are the pits. Okay. Enough of the PT talk. Camping is a lot of fun. This past weekend, we went kayaking, hiking, and bumming around at some shops. We ate a lot. To me, the food you make over a campfire or camp stove tastes a lot better than the stuff you make at home. This week, I'm packing my suitcase to be a camp counselor for next week. There are clothes everywhere on my bed. There's always something exciting happening at camp. Last year we had a storm knock out our lights for a while. Some of the campers decided to tell scary stories in the dark. What makes this camp so special, however, is not the scary stories, but the kids. They're smart, funny, kind, and just plain amazing. Speaking of amazing, this month's guest is also pretty amazing. He's pretty low-key about it. You know, he's humble. In fact, he's probably blushing a little as I talk. That's okay. He has some important stuff to tell us. If you remember last month, I mentioned July is National Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness and Prevention Month. I had also mentioned I was born with a cleft palate. Tap the roof of your mouth. Does it feel firm? Mine was not put together. It was as if I did not have a roof there. Food went right up my nose. I needed surgery as a baby, and then when I was 6, they did another surgery. I had some ear surgeries. When it comes to cleft palate and cleft lip and other craniofacial issues, I really got off easy. And today we're going to talk to someone who had a few more challenges than I did. His name is Evan Winkler. He is our special guest. His mother and I knew each other long before Evan was born. Now he has graduated from high school and he has agreed to share his story. Hi Evan, thank you so much for doing this interview. First of all, please tell us what your diagnosis was when you were born.
I was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate.
A bilateral cleft means there are two openings in the lip, and those openings can be rather long or they may just be small notches. So years ago when I had my cleft palate, I had a team. I'm just wondering, is that something they still do?
Yes, it seems like ever since I can remember, I've had a team that I've gone to. It all starts with the local plastic surgery center here in La Crosse. The doctor who actually did my first surgery is still around today, and we have a great relationship. I've also had a team full of speech and language professionals that I've worked with for many, I think almost 15 years or something like that. And then also I've had a great team of dentists and orthodontic specialists for many years as well.
How many surgeries did you have?
I'm not quite sure exactly how many surgeries I've had, but I think it's around 12. And I had my first one when I was just a few months old, and my most recent one was when I was not quite 17 years old.
So my listeners, don't get too panicky. 12 surgeries is a lot, but it really does depend on each individual situation. And when you have a cleft palate team, they're there to help you. So Evan, you had a lot of surgeries. Were there any that were worse than others, and other surgeries that might have been better than the others?
So one of the lowlights in one of my surgeries was a surgery I had in Rochester when I was probably about 6 or 7 years old. I just remember this one being very painful. What they had to do was, it was called a phalangeal flap removal. I believe it had something to do with making my speech sound better, getting rid of a nasal sound when I talked as well. But I just remember a lot of pain in my throat because they removed the flap. It was kind of down in my vocal cords area. We were a long ways away from our home here in Wisconsin. I stayed 4 nights at the hospital. That was super tough. And then I also I had a catheter connected to me because my body was so weak that they were afraid that I wouldn't be able to make it to a bathroom in time. So yeah, this one was really tough. One of my highlights of my surgeries, I think, is probably my most recent one I had in the summer of 2020. So this one was called a lip switch. And what they do during the lip switch procedure is they take muscle and lip from your bottom lip and transfer it up into your upper lip. And what it's supposed to do is have a better, it's really just supposed to have the side profile look a little better, a little cleaner, a little extra padding up there to, just make it function a little better. And it actually has helped out with some speech and stuff like that. But yeah, one of the best things about that most previous surgery is just knowing that it would be my final one. Even though I had about 21 days where my mouth was sewn up and I could only get food through straws that would go through the side of my mouth, I just knew that as soon as it was over, I wouldn't have any more planned surgeries for the rest of my life. So that was super encouraging.
Cleft palate, cleft lip usually means years of speech therapy. Evan, how long were you in speech therapy?
I went to speech therapy at both the school that I went to as well as a clinic for many of my younger years. I believe I started school speech therapy when I was in 4K, and then it ended when I was in 5th grade. Yeah, technically we had a little graduation from my speech therapy at school. And then at the clinic, I went a couple days a week usually, and that was from when I was about 3 years old into the summer after my 4th grade year.
Evan, did you get teased or bullied? And what kind of advice would you give to young people today, whether they have a cleft palate or a cleft lip or any other type of teasing they might receive at school?
Yeah, so I got bullied and teased a few times in my elementary school years. There were probably only 5 to 10 instances that I can remember. Majority of those were smaller things, like someone walking by me and saying and pointing and saying something like, look at this goofball, he looks silly, that kind of stuff. It really, wasn't that serious, I didn't think. However, it was, it definitely made me sad as a little kid in elementary school getting teased. And then there was also one time where it was actually like genuinely serious. This one kid came up to me and he was like actually mad about why I looked the way that I did, and that made me super frustrated. So but all those times I had teachers that were super supportive, and I was very lucky to have the support system that I did. And then one thing I learned personally, that if you tell friends and teachers and classmates and other students at the school about why you look different and why you have a weird looking lip and why you miss school with appointments and speech therapy sessions, they begin to sympathize with you and understand about why you look different, and that's totally okay. And also, one thing that I got a lot of throughout my earlier years was like genuine curious questions like, hey, why is your lip looking weird? They'd ask it very kindly with no harm intended, but those questions followed me until about middle school. And I'd just say, like, I feel like you get used to those because they're not directed to hurt you in any kind of way.
What has having the bilateral cleft and palate meant to you and your life?
I think without a doubt that my challenge has made me a stronger person. Some of the tough challenges that I've endured, like learning how to speak and enunciate my words throughout my younger years, as well as learning how to walk again after my bone graft surgery, is something that comes natural to the average person. I've also had some mental battles with asking the question, why me, why this, why that? However, I firmly believe that I was given this battle for a reason, and they knew I would come out better on the other side. And 18 years later, I can feel like I can say that I have endured many more challenges than my peers.
Evan, what would you tell mothers of babies with cleft palates and lips, and what would you tell families?
I would tell the mother right away that it'll be tough. There's no doubt about it. I know personally from my experience with my mom that she blamed herself for why I had cleft lip and palate. I can honestly say that over my almost 19 years, that thought never crossed my mind. I would tell these parents right away that it is definitely going to be tougher raising a child with cleft than a regular child. In the beginning, you're probably going to go meet with a doctor, and he will basically explain all the surgeries that will be required throughout the years. You may hear some phrases such as, your child will suffer with speech, eating, coordination, physical abilities, learning, and probably many other things. At that point, you're going to be very scared. Then later on, you're going to hear him say things such as, your child's last surgery may not happen until he or she is 16 to 20 years old, which is what happened in my case. The doctor told me that my last surgery will not happen until I am an older teen, and that is exactly what happened. As a parent, you're going to think that that final surgery is an eternity away, and you may never see that day. However, if you commit to supporting your child through all the surgeries, appointments, and speech therapy lessons, you're going to be so thankful to see that child has come out successful, and so proud to call that child yours.
The CDC says for about every 2,000 births, there are children born either with a cleft lip or a cleft palate or both. What would you tell these kids who might be listening?
As mentioned earlier, I think the biggest thing that you can do is tell your story to your peers about why you look different. After I did that, I felt like I earned a new level of respect that even some other kids didn't receive. I think the events such as little kids coming up to you and curiously asking, hey, what's wrong with you, will follow you majority of your years in school. However, I'd say just embrace your story and your scars. I can firmly say that now, after I've basically graduated from this cleft lip and palate 18-year milestone, that I am so glad that I have experienced all these challenges and tribulations, because it has prepared me for my post-high school life so very well.
Evan's post-high school life includes college. Thank you, Evan, for a wonderful interview. It's interesting to hear other cleft stories. When I was going through it, I felt like I was the only one. What I liked most about Evan's story is that he sees the past challenges as what makes him a stronger and better person. Next month's guest is a surprise, even for me. If you have any suggestions, email me at storiesaua@gmail.com. I just want to put in a plug for our Artisan Festival on September 24th at the Congdon Gardens. I can't say Congdons, can you? If you are interested in being a crafter, artist, author, or performer, email me at storiesaua@gmail.com for an application. We are trying to raise scholarship funds for the arts. Please check out my blog where I interview an actor who shares her cleft lip and cleft palate story. Remember, July is National Cleft and Craniofacial Awareness Month. Let people know about this topic. Thank you for listening. Please share,